Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, got another episode of the Look In series. A series where I go through all 30 NBA teams at the end of their seasons, talk about their future, the state of the team, recap their season, stuff like that. Today's episode is on the Miami Heat after their first round loss. Got a lot to talk about with this team. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, also like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Miami Heat this season, they finished the regular season 46-36, and they're going to lose to the Boston Celtics in 5. Currently, as I'm recording this video right now, they are down by 35 points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So pretty safe to say they're going to lose this series in 5 games. Really tough, with the injuries to Jimmy Butler in the play-in game, no Terry Rozier, Jaime Jaquez didn't play in the final game, no Josh Richardson. Injuries. They've been the story of the Miami Heat the past couple years. Feels like every year they've dealing with an injury or something, some type of injury in the regular season at least, that has set them back a little bit and has forced them to, have to pivot, have some other guys play, force them lower into the standings of what they actually were, you know. And after last year's insane run where they were an 8 seed and made it all the way to the NBA Finals, of course they're a team that you don't really take lightly because they're a team that Eric Spoelstra puts together a great plan, and when it comes to playoff time, they just turn on a switch. And it looked like maybe it could happen again this year. Unfortunately, Jimmy Butler gets hurt in the playing game. Is unfortunately, not being able to play the second playing game and in the playoffs. Terry Rozier, a big acquisition they got at the trade deadline, unfortunately had a neck injury. He could not play at the end of the season either. And yeah, just really tough. You know, injuries have been something that plagued them for again the last couple of years. Look at this season. Jimmy only played in 60 games. Tyler Hero only played in 42 games due to injury. Um, Tucker Robinson 68. Caleb Martin 64. Josh Richardson only 43 games. Kevin Love only 55 games. So yeah, they've had even Bam miss 11 games this season. Like they've been dealing with the injury bug really the entirety of the season, and it led them to this playoff loss. And now it's kind of like, what do we do next for Miami? Again, they had the injuries, all that stuff. They still are a team that you don't take lightly. Still have the greatest coach in the NBA, Eric Spoelstra. They have Jimmy Butler still. Bam Adebayo had a career season. Tyler Hero is still really good. Their rookie Jaime Jaquez had an amazing rookie season as well. They brought in Terry Rozier. Tucker Robinson has improved a whole lot. So, I mean, they still have a good team. Nikola Jovic at the end of the season looks like he could be something for the future for this team as well. So they have some good things. But I honestly may think for the Miami Heat, it's time to make a big move or a big change with this Heat team. Maybe. I'm not putting my full stamp on it, but I'm saying Pat Riley should be looking at it. Last couple years, they have been a team that have been linked to a lot of stars. Of course, they also obviously we had the whole Damian Lillard thing where Miami thought they were going to Damian Lillard. He ends up in Milwaukee. Bradley Beal was an option. He ended up in Phoenix. The last couple years, they have been a team that every time a star has become available, or every time a star is thought to be available, the Miami Heat always attacked because the Miami Heat are a team that everyone knows that they're good, but they just need an extra punch if you want to really win it. They've been to the finals 2 times. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to say 3 of the past 4 years. I want to say, or 3 of the past 5 years now. They've always been good. They've always found a way to make it work. It's just they don't have that extra punch. And getting us another star will bring him an extra punch and will make him a favorite, honestly, in the Eastern Conference. You know, so they have not had that, and I think Pat Riley it's time to make the move. They've been holding off the past couple years. Whether it's they didn't get his final offer for Dame, or whether it's Bradley Beal had a no trade clause, he wanted to go to Phoenix. I think it's time for Miami to make the move now. If Miami really wants to capitalize on this, they have to make the move because realistically, looking at this time, they don't have that many chances left. Jimmy Butler is 34, about to be 35 years old, and he's up for extension this season. Next year, he's getting paid 48 mil, and then he has a $52 million player option that he's probably going to take. Bam Adebayo, 27, he's eligible for an extension this offseason as well. Terry Rozier, about to be 30. Doug Robinson, about to be 30. You do not have, time is not on your side in terms of youth. Tyler Hero is youthful. But really, what is Tyler Hero's ceiling? He's a good player. Is he ever going to be a star? No. He's still a really good player, though. You do have Bam. But the core of this team, outside of Tyler Hero and Bam, is old. You know, you do have Jaime Jaquez, who is a 23-year-old rookie. So you have that little bit. And he's really good. But it's like you don't have that many chances left to take. And if you really want to capitalize on having Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Eric Spoelstra together, because we've seen it. I mean, they've been to the finals again. They've been to the finals 2 times in the past couple of years. They've been to the conference finals 3 of the past 5 years. They can work. It can work. They can make it far. It's just, I think it's time. You don't have that many chances left, and I think for Pat Riley, it's time to make the move. I think it's time to be aggressive. It's time to make the move, especially when the Eastern Conference, where the Celtics have look really good. Young teams like the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers are going to become. The New York Knicks are good now. You know, the Bucks, Giannis, as long as Giannis is still and Dame is still there, they're going to be there. I think now is your time. You have to make the move now. If not now, then when? If not now, then we're just going to go off to the sunset, never having to capitalize on the championship, or at least having a really amazing chance to capitalize on having this team together. You know, now I'm not saying a superstar makes this team the best. Now I'm not saying they get Donovan Mitchell and they become the best team in the East, but they have a better chance. I like their chances better than with this Miami team. You know, but yeah, I think it's time to make the move for Pat Riley. Now, the only reason I'm not fully guaranteeing stamping it in, this is the move to make right now. One, what star is going to be available this offseason? I don't really know. Looking at the NBA and the landscape right now, currently right now, maybe in the offseason, I think things will change. But right now, there doesn't look like there's that many teams that are willing to trade stars right now. I think the only ones you can really think about is Trae Young, maybe in Atlanta, depending on what they want to do. Even DeJounte Murray, I think, would be a solid move. Um, Brandon Ingram, maybe in New Orleans. Does that really change much? I don't know. Donovan Mitchell, potentially, depending on how this series goes for the Cavaliers. Could be something there. The Phoenix Suns already came out today. Matt Ishbia said we're not trading any of the big three for right now unless Kevin Durant requests a trade. So there's not right now. It doesn't look like there's that many stars available, but you never know what's really going to happen in the NBA. You know, one player come on in free agency, we don't even expect to say, you know what, I don't want to be in this team anymore. And then Miami can make their move. But also the reason why I'm not fully stamping and guaranteeing it, and this is probably thinking of the Miami Heat side and not me, is that I think they're going to give it, with this year having injuries, with Jimmy Butler being injured, with Terry Rozier being injured, we haven't seen this fully healthy team put together on a big run yet. So I get a feeling that Miami might try to run it back again with this team next season and just hope for health, which they haven't had in the past couple of years. But I mean, eventually it's got to work in your favor at some point. So maybe they're gonna try to bank on that happening and try and come back next year with this same team. I mean, again, we've seen they made it to the NBA Finals last year. You know, so it does work sometimes. It's just how often is that really, or how often are you going to catch lightning in a bottle like that? I'm not really sure. And maybe I think it might have to be their change of approach. The last couple of years, they have made these runs while not really being a top seed. You know, 2020 in the bubble, they were, I want to say, in the top four. I think they were like a 4 seed. I want to say in 2020, made it to the finals. 2021, they were a 6 seed. They got swept in the first round. 2022, they were a 1 seed. That was the one year they did take the regular season series. Were a 1 seed. They lost the conference finals. And then last year, when they made it to the NBA Finals, they were an 8 seed. Only the second ever 8 seed to do that. And this year, they're an 8 seed again, back in the play-in. And I think you're setting yourself up by putting yourself that far behind, because I mean, it's hard to be an 8 and 7 seed and make it that far. Like how many times, like the Heat last year, I think the second or third 8 seed ever to make it that far. It's hard to be an 8 seed or a 7 seed and make it to the NBA Finals, especially nowadays with the play-in. With the play-in, where you're not even guaranteed a playoff spot if you're a 7 or 8 seed. You have to play an extra game, potentially two, if you lose that first game, if you're a 7 or 8 seed, to even make it into the playoffs. And then from then on, You have a battle with the number one seed, a team that has been the best team in the Eastern Conference, or number two seed, the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And you have to battle through them. You have to get through them, and that's hard. And then you have to go to the next round where you have to keep that same momentum up for another team that just got off our series. Then you go to the conference finals, have to face maybe another 2 or 3 seed in the conference finals, and then get to the NBA. Like, that is just so hard to do, especially once. Doing it once. Miami doing it last year was kind of like a magical NCAA tournament Cinderella type of run. Now imagine trying to formula formulate your team to do that again next season and maybe the year after that. That's hard. That's tiring. That is hard. That is setting yourself up. And so I think maybe for Miami, I think helping that is one, getting a star player, to kind of help alleviate yourself because Jimmy Butler, especially at this point at 35 years old, he has missed the last couple regular seasons. He's not fully healthy. And we've seen, let's be honest, Jimmy Butler doesn't really take the regular season serious. Let's be honest. Jimmy Butler, regular season, he's cool. He can make an all star game. But it's like, he's not coming out putting up 35, 40 in a regular season. He's coming out, he's cool with his 18, 20. If he needs to get into his 30 or 40 point bag, he can do it. But let's be honest, he's not really coming out and trying to win MVP or anything. He's saving it for April. Tyler Hero, he's good. Is he really carrying you through a regular season, though? Not really. And the way this Miami team plays isn't really built for the regular season. They're a playoff built team, which is crazy to think about, but they are. They're a playoff built team. The great, the defense locked in, the plays, the ball movement. They're not an amazing shooting team. Like everything, they do so good in the playoffs because they are a team built for the playoffs. And Eric Spoelstra has this team built for the NBA playoffs. But at some point, you're gonna have to take the regular season a little bit serious. I'm not saying go out and win 60 games, but can we at least get home court in the first round? Can we at least get home court in the first round? At least top 4, at least maybe even 5. Like I'll take it. I will take it. But being in 7 or 8 seed every year and having to try to come back and get to the finals on that formula is just very tiring and something that doesn't happen that much, honestly. So I think Miami has to start taking the regular season a little bit more serious to try to help their chances, and maybe go and get a star. But speaking of this future offseason, the NBA, they do have their own picks for the draft, their own first and own second round pick, which is not something that many teams have. So congratulations, Miami, I guess, for having that. Looking at who they can draft with their pick, thinking of where they can go. I think potentially a point guard or guard. I think would be nice to have. Jared McCain, maybe. Jared McCain, guy that can stretch the floor, at least, maybe like a wing. Terrence Shannon Jr. is a older veteran, senior type player. I think that could do some things for them. Tristan De Silva from Colorado, I think will fit in nicely. Well, maybe kind of like a stretch 4 that can also 3. Kevin McCullough. I think them getting an older guy, especially how they saw what they did with Jaime Jaquez this year. I think getting a guy like that would benefit this team. They would fit into the Miami Heat culture. A guy that can shoot the ball, especially. A guy that can help space the floor for them would be nice. So I think that would be good. In the second round pick, you could take your chance maybe on a young guy that could have some potential. Who knows? We'll see. But that's drafting them free agency. Uh, they have negative $74 million projected cap space, so not that much money to work with. And they have a couple free agents. Caleb Martin is their big guy. Caleb Martin has a player option coming up this season. Is he going to take it? I don't really know. We'll see what happens there. He could take the player option. He could not. Maybe get some more money. Kevin Love also has a player option. Josh Richardson has a player option, and Thomas Bryant have player options. Thomas Bryant wasn't really part of the regular rotation. Josh Richardson only played in 40 games because he got hurt. And Kevin Love is 36 years old, but he does say he wants to come back and play. So maybe Miami buys in and just stays in Miami because why not? And then Caleb Martin, that's the big guy. Then after that, Haywood Highsmith restricted, so maybe you have to pay him a little bit of money. But after that, like Patty Mills, Delon Wright, Jamal Cain, who really knows? But yeah, I think Pat Riley, I think it's time. I think it's time to make that move. I think if it's not now, then it will never happen. Because the Celtics aren't getting younger, older. Well, the Celtics are getting older, but the Celtics aren't really going anywhere anytime soon, it seems like. The New York Knicks look like they're going to be in a good position for the next couple of years. As long as Giannis and Dame are in Boston, are in Milwaukee, they're going to be a team you have to deal with. The Atlanta Magic are coming up. The Indiana Pacers are coming up. And who knows? Looking at some other teams, maybe Philadelphia, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, they're still going to be around. The Cavaliers are still going to be decent, depending on, I don't know what happens for them next offseason, how their team looks next year. But they're still going to be, you have to think, even if they do have Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, they're still going to be an okay team. So, like, the East is tough a little bit right now. Not as tough as the West, but it's still got some teams in there. So I think Miami, if they want to put themselves in and want to make it another run, I think they're going to have to go get that star. They're going to have to go get that star. Power is going to need to pull the trigger. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. If you missed any of the other Looking episodes, there's a playlist up here somewhere. You can go back and check those ones out. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.